Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3 Episode 9, The Harbinger, which was directed by Stuart Lee and was written by Jennifer Corbett and was released on March 27th, 2024, which I thought was a solid episode where we see the return of Asajj Ventress, which we already knew she was coming back because of the trailer, as you know, that was a big reveal in the trailer, and honestly because of that, I felt like it took away from this episode for me, because I knew Asajj would return, and so I had some questions about it. And the episode doesn't really have those answers, outside of some, quick little lines from Asajj. So I do feel like if, would have went into this episode not knowing she was returning, I might have just enjoyed it a little more, because I still really liked what her purpose was in the episode, which is, to answer more questions about Omega, and, if Omega is Force sensitive or not. And so, we see Asajj and Omega form a relationship, so which I quite enjoyed all of that. And, I thought the episode had some good visuals and whatnot too, so I enjoyed the episode. So, I liked a lot about it, but, I just maybe got my expectations up a little too high. It does seem like Asajj might return, I don't know if it'll be later on in this final season, but maybe another animated show or something like that. But no, I'm not fully sure there. But the episode, it starts with Omega looking around in the one cave near like the beach area, because Batcher was getting upset and barking in the area. And so, Omega investigates the area and finds a ship, and then Asajj sneaks up on her. But before that, there was a moment with the other Bad Batch members by the docks, helping out a fisher, which, we see them talk about Fennec and how they haven't heard from her yet. And then afterwards, they go to the beach cave area where they find Batcher barking at them. And so they run towards the cave and find Asajj with Omega. And, Asajj has a hold of Omega, so the Bad Batch confronts her, and Asajj easily lets go of Omega and tells them that Fennec sent her, which Hunter wonders how Asajj found them, because they didn't give Fennec their location, which Asajj just says she has her ways, and tells them that they aren't as hidden as they think they are. And then she goes on about asking them why they're looking into M counts and how that can bring unwanted attention to them. But Hunter, Riker, and Crosshair, obviously don't trust her and don't tell her anything. But Omega does, telling Asajj it's for a friend of theirs who the Empire is after because of some M-count experiments, which Asajj then tells them what M-count is and whatnot, which, we obviously already knew. It's midichlorians, and, how someone with a high count is more likely to be Force sensitive, which is when Omega lets it slip that she's the one the Empire is after. She asks if she's going to be a Jedi, which Asajj says she isn't, because, that's going to take a lot of training, and that she's never met a clone who is Force sensitive, but does, realize that they are different for clones. But Asajj then warns them about the Empire and whatnot, which, they obviously already know, but she then starts to leave, but Omega stops her, asking her to test her to see if she does have a high M count, which Asajj reluctantly agrees to do it. Which the first test Asajj has Omega do is balance on a rock with one leg and her arms out with a piece of fruit balancing on her head, which Omega struggles to do it, finding the rock to be too slippery. But there's a cute moment of Wrecker cheering her on, which annoys Asajj, thinking that Wrecker and Hunter are distraction. So, she asks them to leave. But we see Crosshair return and confirm some info to Hunter that the woman there with them is Asajj Ventress. As I assume they didn't know what she exactly looked like. But now knowing exactly who she is, their distrust grows even more. We see Wrecker wonder why a Separatist assassin would be helping them, which Crosshair wonders if she's actually helping them, which Crosshair wonders if she's actually helping them. But we see that Asajj overhears this conversation, and after Omega fails the test again, she sends her out on another test, which is to go to the weeping Maya tree at the top of the island and bring her back a white blossom before the sun sets, which Omega thinks it's impossible as the sun is already setting. But Omega realizes she has no time to complain, so she starts going. And once she leaves, we see the Bad Batch go to confront Asajj as she tells them to, think about what they're about to do. But they ask her to leave, and she refuses, so they pull their blasters on her, which she uses the Force to pull them away, telling them no cheating. And so they start doing some hand-to-hand combat, which I quite enjoyed the action scene. The animation was definitely a lot more faster paced and different than usual, so I did like that there. But the Bad Batch doesn't really stand a chance against her, as she's easily taking them down. And after a few rounds, she force pushes Wrecker into Hunter, and there's a little break in their fight as Hunter asks her what she's really wanting with Omega, which Asajj says she might take Omega off their hands. But during this, Crosshair has snuck towards their blasters and now has a sniper pointing at her, telling her that's not going to happen, as he kicks the other's blasters to them, which they now point at Asajj, who tells them to be good clones and stand down, which Hunter tells her that they're not big on following orders. And they start firing as, Asajj pulls her lightsaber out and blocks all the shots, telling them that she wasn't planning on killing them, but they are making it tempting. And, she charges after them. But during this, we see Omega, with the help of Batcher, get to the Weeping Maya tree and recover the White Blossom, and, heads back towards the cave, and, does get there before the sun sets, but finds Asajj, and does get there before the sun sets, but she gets there and finds that Asajj has pinned Hunter and Crosshair down, and is currently force choking Wrecker, which Omega is shocked, wondering what happened, which Hunter tells Omega that Asajj has been lying to them, and that she is a war criminal, which Asajj tells them that times have changed, and that they were both pawns in the war, and all of them lost, and that she is not their enemy, which she then lets go of Wrecker and puts her lightsaber away, and then walks away, as Omega runs over to check on Wrecker. But then later at nighttime, we see the Bad Batch in the Marauder, talking about everything, which Hunter tells Omega that they can't trust Asajj, but Omega wants to give her a chance, and says Asajj had the chance to kill them but chose not to, so that must mean something, which Crosshair says she's being naive and too trusting, but she does tell him that she never gave up on him, which she has a point there. And so Bad Batch choose to trust Omega and allow her to continue the testing with Asajj, as the next day we see Omega go to Asajj for the final test, which Asajj is at the docks, and once Omega greets her and whatnot, they go out on a boat, which Asajj takes them out pretty far away from the island, and tells Omega to kind of reach out and connect with nature, with the Force. But we see that the others are still watching after her, and while Wrecker is kind of looking through some binoculars, Asajj looks right at them, which spooks Wrecker, wondering how she knows they are looking at them, which was a funny moment. But back on the boat, we see Omega try to reach out into the Force and connect with the fish and nature and whatnot, but she isn't able to and gets frustrated and gives up, which Asajj blames the other Bad Batch members for Omega's lack of training and discipline there, and wonders if this is all a waste of time, which Omega asks Asajj, why should she even listen to her, and wonders if Asajj even knows what this M-count stuff truly is, which Asajj then shows off her Force powers by summoning these green translucent looking fish, which was a nice scene, but the lesson is short-lived as Asajj accidentally summons this big fish monster thingy, which attacks the boat and makes them both go underwater, which we see the Bad Batch notice and get to the Marauder to help them out. But the monster has some like octopus tentacle thingies, and they grab Omega and bring her underwater. So Asajj pulls her lightsaber out and cuts the tentacle off, saving Omega. And then they kind of swim back to the boat, which is when the Marauder arrives and starts attacking the monster. But Asajj says it's making it worse, so Omega uses her comm to tell the others to stand down as Asajj has it, which we then see Asajj get grabbed by the tentacle monster and brought towards it. But she then reaches out with the Force to calm it, which works, and it puts Asajj down and then swims away, which the Marauder then comes and picks them up as Crosshair gives both Omega and Asajj a hand, helping them onto the ship, showing more trust in Asajj. But they fly back to the island, and outside Asajj's ship, she gives Omega the results of her test, telling her that she doesn't have a high M count, which shocks Omega, making her wonder why the Empire is after her, which we see Wrecker comfort her, telling her they'll figure it out. And, he gets her to come with him to go get some food, which was a nice scene. But after they leave, Crosshair says Asajj is lying, which she says about what part, which Hunter tells her to tell them, which she then says if Omega did have a high M count, she would need training and would have to leave the Bad Batch behind, which Hunter says isn't happening, which Asajj then tells them that they aren't as safe as they think they are on Babu and that they should leave, as she starts to leave, which at this point Crosshair wonders what side she's truly on, which she says her own. And Hunter asks if she's worried about the Empire coming after her, which she says they can try, but she still has a few lives left. And she goes to her ship and flies off, and that's where the episode ends. Like I said, I thought it was a solid episode. I would have liked more answers about how Asajj is still alive, but I'm assuming we'll get that story eventually. But I still liked her presence in the episode. I liked her testing Omega and the tension between her and the other members of the Bad Batch. But I also liked, getting answers on what Omega's M count truly is, which honestly the ending definitely kind of left it where I'm not exactly fully sure if she is actually high M count or not. But right now I'm going to say she isn't going to be Force sensitive or anything like that. But I liked, Asajj testing Omega. But I will say that the stuff with the tentacle monster, I wasn't super into it. More on a story level, I guess. I would have maybe liked another scene with Omega. Now kind of more trusting Asajj and with the Force and whatnot, and maybe seeing her give it another shot. But I assume that's because she isn't actually going to be Force sensitive, as what Asajj says at the end of the episode. But I also like the tension between Asajj and the other members of the Bad Batch. But like I said earlier, I enjoyed the visuals. Also like the difference with the animation in that one fight scene with Asajj and the Bad Batch. Also, Asajj's theme in the episode was great. I really enjoyed that. So, all in all, I thought it was a solid episode. I guess my expectations got the best of me a little bit, as I was expecting a little more from Asajj. But, I still enjoyed her purpose in the story. But, anyways, my grade for this episode is going to be a B+, so yeah. But next I'll be reviewing episode 10, Identity Crisis, so you can check that out then. But in the meantime, check out my reviews on the first 8 episodes, all my other Bad Batch videos, and everything else I do. But I've been Star Wars View, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
I thought that the end of the war would mean an end to losing more of our brothers. But I was wrong. We can't just walk away. Not with the Empire imprisoning the kid.
Secure her in a cell.